If fighters from every martial art went head to head in a kicking only contest, who do you think would be the last one standing? Well, in this video, I'm going to answer that question and see if at long last we can decide which martial art makes the best kickers. Kicks are one of the most distinctive and dangerous tools in martial arts. But what works in a competition might not work in the street. So how do we decide which martial art produces the best kicks? Well, in this video, I've come up with 4 criteria that I believe can help us decide. I'm going to talk you through some of the shortlisted styles that are great at kicking, the number one in each of the different categories, and finally crown a winner when we decide which is the ultimate kicking martial art. Then finally, at the end of the video, I'm going to share with you some of my top tips for developing excellent kicks. So make sure you stay tuned. So what are these criteria? First of all, we have speed. Speed is crucial for kicking because it has to be fast for it to land. And kicks are something which naturally are quite slow. Speed is also crucial for power because, as Newtonian physics teaches us, force is mass multiplied by acceleration. The second criteria is power, because what is the purpose of a kick if not to cause damage? Therefore, we must rate a kick on how much power it can generate. The third is versatility. How does a kick work in different ranges? How does a kick work at different targets? Low, medium, high? These are all things we must know when we're considering which kicks are truly versatile. And finally, we have style. This may not seem important for an average street fight. However, style does a few different things. If someone has really awesome, stylish looking kicks, it's probably pretty intimidating for their opponent. They will also likely get scored higher in a competition, or even in styles like MMA. People love to watch amazing kickers. Just look at Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who has never actually won a major title, but has spent years being a firm fan favourite because of his awesome kicking. So what are some of the contenders for the ultimate kicking martial art? Well, I'm going to give you my shortlist now. First of all, we've got Muay Thai, Thailand's national sport. Second, we have Shotokan Karate, the style from mainland Japan which has influenced a whole generation of karate points fighters. We have Western kickboxing, which kind of emerged in the 70s and became this massive movement of cool kickboxing, full contact fights. We have, of course, Taekwondo, the national sport of Korea, which evolved in the 1950s as kind of a merging of karate and traditional Korean martial arts. We have Kyokushin Karate. This is like the hardcore older brother of Shotokan. They fight full contact, they only punch to the chest, but you can knock people out with kicks. We have Savate, or the old boot, a French kickboxing style that kind of emerged from a kicking game developed by sailors in the southern regions. Of course, we have MMA, which kind of blends techniques from Muay Thai, karate, and a few others. And finally, we have Capoeira, the Brazilian dance fighting martial arts. So now I'm going to give you my draw of which one of these wins each of our 4 categories. Can you predict which you think they are? Are you enjoying this video so far? If so, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you've trained in any of the styles of martial arts we've talked about so far. So in terms of speed, the clear winner here is Taekwondo. Just look at the way they kick. They fight mostly off the front leg. They use these really fast side kicks and snapping roundhouse kicks to go middle and high section. It's often said you could easily take down a Taekwondo fighter with a low kick, but just getting close enough to cause that damage when they're like side kicking up towards your face is really difficult. The winner for power is clearly Muay Thai. Anyone who's ever been leg blasted by a Muay Thai roundhouse kick, I don't need to tell you how much that hurts. It is literally like being hit with a baseball bat. Traditionally, these guys train by kicking banana trees until they are damaged enough that they simply fall down. That is the sheer destructive power of Muay Thai's kicks, and in particular the roundhouse. In terms of versatility, I have to give that to Savate. Although this is a lesser known martial art, Savate fighters are incredible with the different ranges that they use with their kicks, and the way that Savate fighters string together different combinations of kicks from different angles that makes them really versatile. Then in terms of style, there can only really be one winner. That is Capoeira. If you've ever seen a Capoeira fight, they are just awesome fun to behold. You have this big friendly circle of people playing music and singing along. You have this kind of back and forth like a dance and a martial arts combined as people are delivering these amazing spinning kicks and these acrobatics acrobatics. High-level capoeira fighters are always ripped as hell, and the fact that they're like shirtless on the beach doing this amazing acrobatics to music certainly makes it one of the most stylish martial arts I've ever seen. So what is the overall winner here? Judged across all 4 categories, there is one martial art that I think rates highest, and that is Taekwondo. Sorry for all the haters out there, because I know a lot of people hate Taekwondo. However, let me explain my reasoning. As I mentioned earlier, the speed of Taekwondo kicks are incredible, and they just keep pushing the boundaries and getting faster and faster every day. Now, although Taekwondo isn't necessarily seen as a power art where people will smash down doors and knock people clean out, when you get this speed and momentum that the fighters get, charging forwards or jumping, they certainly have enough power to do serious damage. Versatility is also pretty high, maybe less so than some other martial arts, because in Taekwondo they don't low kick. However, being able to kick midsection and high section perfectly every time means that they are more than capable of kicking low when they want to. And finally, Taekwondo is pretty stylish. Just look at some of the jump kicks and spinning kicks that you see in the Olympics. If you can lay someone out cold with like a 360 hook kick to the head, they've got to have some points for style there. Now, this is not a catch-all statement, because Taekwondo produces incredible kickers, but anyone with basic punching skills could probably knock out a Taekwondo fighter pretty easily once you're close enough that they can't get you in this kicking range. However, in terms of the kicks in isolation and the amount of time and dedication that is spent on pure kicking in Taekwondo, I think makes them the most powerful kicking martial art. So, tip number 1 is to stretch often and for a reasonable amount of time. Before you start training, you should do some dynamic stretches. That means kicking straight up or kicking side to side, opening your legs and your hips, getting them ready and warm and in a position to kick properly later. You should also work on static stretching. That means holding positions like in a split stretch, or reaching down to stretch your hamstrings once you're already warmed up. And finally, you should also do some light stretching at the end. Tip number 2. Add plyometrics to your exercise routine. This means exercises that focus on explosive power. An example might be jump squats, going low, maybe even holding a medicine ball and exploding upwards, using your legs for strength. You could also do exercises like squat thrusts that work on this explosive quad strength, or lunges with a jump up and a kick at the top. I do all of these often, and they have really helped me develop power in my kicks. Number 3, focus on your technique. Train kicks, but do it slowly. Make sure you get the exact perfect alignment. You get the hip placed in the right position. You get the toes pointing the right way. Do a few repetitions each time you practice, slowly, and focus on the technique. As the saying goes, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. If you practice them slowly, you will develop this speed naturally and with much better technique. Number 4, make sure you are working on power and using resistance. That means kicking heavy bags or kicking pads. It's great to work on technique, but if you do everything like shadow boxing, where you're just fighting the air, you won't know how much power your kicks can actually generate. So make sure you dedicate enough time to actually kicking something with some resistance. So if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like or leave me a comment below. What are your best tips for kicking? Do you agree with my categories and my final conclusion? I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you found this video useful, you can check out my latest book that has just come out. This is a book of my top 10 kicks for martial artists of all backgrounds. It shows you how to deliver these 10 kicks perfectly. It also offers training exercises, setups, and even some stories about how myself and other fighters have used these kicks in real life. Also, if you're interested to know any more about my background or some of the different styles I've done, you can check out these videos where I talk about Kung Fu and Aikido. And don't worry, there'll be plenty more coming soon. As always, train smart, stay safe. Thanks for watching.